just how holy is the Holy Land.
So that your idea of God was what?
As so often down here.
Your sister?
Let us have faith.
Your brother?
Let us have faith.
And friends will be gathered around.
Let us have faith.
Your mom?
Some faces are made.
Let us have faith.
They have gone on to heaven.
Let us have faith.
A good
They will
friend?
be there with Jesus till the trumpet shall sound.
Let us have faith.
Your child? Now think of their terrible fate if they die without Christ.
The suicide bomber can look forward to this luxurious, wonderful life of sexual ecstasy, surrounded by brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and cousins and nephews, all of which he knows that because of his actions, they're guaranteed to make it to paradise. So you have a replication, if you will, of the Arab family, of the extended family of paradise. And then when you hear them describe the kind of world they would be in, rivers flowing in non-alcoholic wine, milk and honey and fruit juice and water and so forth, you begin to realize that what they're describing is the idea of what paradise would be for a desert or nomadic people.
No doubt you've seen the subtle attempts by the media to link conservative Christians with Muslim radicals. Unlike Muslim fundamentalists, we will continue to use the means and methods that freedom affords. Freedom that rests upon the foundation of Christianity.
Thank you, Tony.
I remember asking my Saudi friends, what do these people want? And they said, well, they want to basically go back. They want to go back in time to a purer world, to an Islam that wasn't threatened by the West.
If our justification for being there is that God sent us, then the Arab justification, the Islamic justification, is that the Quran has said that any land to which the Quran spread is inalienable. It's Dar al-Islam. That therefore means that we are in a permanent religious quarrel.
What would Jesus do? Would Jesus think that torture is cool?
Think of the excess of brutality, cruelty, and mendacity which is now allowed to spread itself over the civilized world.
A video of his beheading was put out on the internet.
Catholicism is as Catholicism does. Judaism is as Judaism does. And by God, Islam as Islam does.
Do you agree that perhaps it's now time for a kind of new Islamic enlightenment?
It's our absolute against their absolute.
Civilization is perpetually threatened with disintegration. Instinctual passions are stronger than reason. Civilization has to use its utmost efforts in order to set limits to man's aggressive instincts.
To live a Jewish life.
Judaism is as Judaism does.
To live a Jewish life.
Judaism is as Judaism does. Islam is as Islam does. Judaism is.
They came from far away, hope was in their hearts, and Israel
To live a Jewish life.
Jacob and his sons, Eli and his family to Israel. In the beginning, there was nothing, only rocks and sands. But they built their farms and villages with tears and wounded hands for Israel.
Shaped by an insulated religious Jewish environment. I was brought up in the experience that Judaism was the truth, that this is the true way and the right way.
If you are in a religious quarrel, you cannot compromise.
And that way was vouchsafed to Jews exclusively.
Now, so long as we're going to insist that we have a religious right to the land of Israel, then even Jimmy Carter will tell us that that isn't what his Southern Baptist teaching has taught him. The Jews have a religious right to the land of Israel, provided they turn Christian.
They cannot prove that to us. They cannot prove that to us.
Do what is upright and good in God's eyes so that he will be good to you. You will then come and occupy the good land that God promised your fathers. As God promised, he will repulse all of your enemies before you.
Do you agree that perhaps it's now time for a kind of new Islamic enlightenment?
Osama bin Laden calls us evil. I read this morning his letter to America from last year. It was powerful stuff. Half of it sounded like ravings of a lunatic, but half of it sounded really powerful criticisms of America, American foreign policy, American place in the world. He calls us evil. George Bush calls him evil, right? What does that do? They're like implacably opposed to each other.
And Osama bin Laden.
Evil is something you have to resist.
There's been controversy, I suppose, over the centuries about the notion of the Jews as the chosen people. What does that do to Jewish beliefs about others and their relationship?
Whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, whether I find a place in this world or never belong, I gotta be me. I gotta be me. What else can I be but what
After you die, usually you go to the mortician, they put you in a coffin, then they put you in the ground, and then you rot.
They won't give up their salvation by blood. And I think a religion who drinks blood every day, the priest, is a religion for cannibals. And so I really think we ought to listen what Jesus said before they killed him and not believe that the crucifixion is the thing we are saved by, because they are addicted to a bloody, cruel death. By this death, they are redeemed, they believe. And I say that is pagan